Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're getting into the really incredible journey of personal computing, from those very early chaotic days right up to the devices you probably use every single day. Our mission really is to unpack how we went from this almost overwhelming number of different machines to the tech that's just all around us now. It's quite a story.
It really is. And, the funny thing is, even right at the start, there was just never a shortage of options or real Wild West, like you said.
Absolutely, yeah. If you look back at the, say, mid-late 70s, it wasn't just competitive, it was,
Yeah, well.
an explosion, right?
Okay.
Yeah, things like the Apple I, the Apple II, Commodore PET, the TRS-80 from Radio Shack, the TI 994A, just all these different machines popping up.
Mm-hmm.
Were they all sort of aiming for the same thing, or was there a lot of variety in what they were trying to do?
Because that's a great question. Because, well, they all wanted to put computing power into, individual hands, but many were pretty specific. Like, take the Altair 8800, which came even before some of those you mentioned. Technically, yes, it was a personal computer, but it didn't include a keyboard or a monitor.
Really? So how did you use it?
You had to be a real hobbyist. Wiring things up, programming it with switches. It laid some groundwork, sure, but it really shows you how early days it was. It wasn't for everyone.
Okay, that makes sense. And that really sets the stage for the 80s then, because that's where things got really interesting. The selection just seemed to explode.
Oh, absolutely.
You got the Commodore 64, which was huge, more Apple II, the IBM PC, which is a game changer, its clones, then Apple's Lisa and the Macintosh, Atari's computers, the Commodore Amiga. Just, wow, what was driving all that expansion?
Well, a big part of it was the IBM PC, not just the machine itself, but the fact that its architecture was open.
Right, open architecture. What did that mean practically?
It meant other companies could make compatible machines, the clones you mentioned, often cheaper too. And that really drove a kind of standardization, especially for businesses, and built up this huge software world around it.
Ah, okay. So that helped bring computing beyond just the hobbyists.
Exactly. And at the same time, you had companies like Apple pushing graphical interfaces with the Lisa and Mac, making computers, well, easier for regular people to actually use, more intuitive.
So we had this incredible variety, this explosion, but then the 90s.
Yeah.
Things seemed to shift pretty fast. It felt like almost overnight, the main choices left were PCs, those IBM compatibles and the Macintosh. What happened to everyone else?
Yeah, it was a big consolidation. Part of it was that IBM PC standard just becoming so dominant, the software, the peripherals. It created this powerful momentum. Apple, because it had its own distinct thing, its own ecosystem, managed to keep its dedicated users.
Yeah.
But, while the desktop market was consolidating, people were starting to think about computing away from the desk. And that's where you saw this new breed of device starting to pop up, the personal digital assistant, the PDA.
The PDA. Right, like the Apple Newton, or maybe more famously, the Palm Pilot.
Yeah.
For listeners who might remember those, what was their main job? They weren't quite like carrying a computer around, were they?
No, not really. They didn't have the raw processing power of a desktop or anything, but the idea was to give you a handheld way to do specific things, manage your contacts, your calendar, take notes, kind of offload some PC tasks.
So like a stepping stone towards mobile computing.
Precisely. The first real step towards having that kind of portable, always available computing.
And that whole portable idea really picked up steam in the 2000s, didn't it? You started seeing handhelds with like actual operating systems. I remember Nokia had some early smartphones. They sort of hinted at what was coming.
They did. And that hint became, well, a full-blown revolution later that decade. Apple brought out the iPhone. And then Google quickly followed with Android phones offering, similar power and features. That just changed everything.
Yeah. Suddenly you had powerful, proper computers in your pocket with apps and everything.
Right. General purpose computing, always connected. A massive shift.
So fast forward to today.
Right.
What does all this history mean for you, the listener, right now? I mean, the choice today is just, it's a dizzying array, isn't it? You've got smartphones, tablets, desktops, laptops, those two-in-ones that flip around.
It's a completely different landscape. And what's really interesting now is the operating system competition. Windows used to be pretty much the default, but now you've got Mac OS, Linux, Chrome OS really providing much-needed competition.
And the prices come down too, right?
Massively. That's maybe the biggest point. These devices, phones, tablets, basic laptops, they're incredibly inexpensive now. Almost anyone can afford some kind of personal computing device.
That means computing is just center everywhere. It's never been more ubiquitous, more accessible. Now, okay, not all devices are the same, obviously. Some things are still easier on a real computer with a keyboard and mouse.
Sure, certain tasks lend themselves better to different form factors, but for most everyday tasks, most people can do most things on pretty much any device they pick up.
Yeah.
And that accessibility, it really levels the playing field. It empowers people. You can buy what you prefer, what you can afford. And that, in turn, creates this huge, vibrant market for software developers making apps for all these different platforms.
It's just an amazing journey when you trace it back from that confusing Wild West of early machines to today's world where these devices are so interconnected and, well, just there.
It really is. And maybe a final thought for you to consider. With these tools now, so affordable, so capable, and so widespread, think about how that unique accessibility empowers you. How does it let you connect with information, with the world in ways that were just, well, science fiction only a few decades back?